Welcome, dear viewers. Generally, cats are feisty creatures, and sometimes they scratch their owner or drop off unexpected things. They don't listen, nor follow orders like dogs would. Despite their nature, cats have overflowing feelings and act unusual. Maybe this is the reason why in today's story, the cat wouldn't leave the little child alone in the forest.
Before we begin, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos.
God's creations are wonderfully diverse. He has planted affection and mercy in all living creatures. Stay tuned to know what happened in this effective story, and to be reminded that you should be kind and behave well with everyone and everything. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video, and of course, to activate the notification bell. There was a Russian woman called Nicola Arena who lived by the forest in a town in Russia near Siberia. Although she was living near the forest, she lived in a block of flats. All of her neighbors knew her pet cat, Lucy. According to these people, Lucy appeared around the year 2012. Since then, the cat had been part of the neighborhood. Because of the frozen weather and low temperature, all of the residents in the building cared for Lucy. They provided water and food for her, making sure she was warm and wouldn't have to go far away to look for food. The cat had been living this way for 3 years until the year 2015, when everyone noticed the change in her behavior. Lucy was the type of cat that didn't make too much noise and was barely noticed, but suddenly her meowing and crying too much made them wonder what may have happened to her. And one person who was curious about this was a woman named Masha. Masha decided to get ready and follow Lucy to find out why the cat was absent for days. Of course, Masha wasn't alone. She was accompanied by another woman, Nicole, who was mentioned earlier was the owner of the cat. Anyway, the curiosity that led the women to the forest ended near a trash bin when they found out that Lucy was not by herself. Despite the shock, they reevaluated the situation because what they found was a baby wrapped up in a blanket, resting inside a box. What was even more strange was that Lucy didn't allow them to touch the baby. Lucy faced the 3 women to protect the baby until Arena calmed her down. Since her behavior had changed for the past 3 days, the neighbors believed that the cat found the baby and took care of it, even sleeping with it in the box to keep it warm. That was obvious because of the fur that was spread all over the blanket. After all that, a Russian local news company called RT asked Arena to be interviewed about this extraordinary story. Of course, the most important question that was asked was, what did Arena do when she saw her with the baby for the first time? Arena said that the reason for the baby being alive was all thanks to Lucy. She was surprised at first and never thought that some little baby would change the behavior of the cat, leaving home for several hours at a time. For the baby, the woman noticed that it could be around 3 months old. Some clothing and food were left beside it, meaning the baby was surely abandoned by its father or someone else. As anyone would do, Arena took the baby and contacted the authorities. After all, this was the right thing to do. While waiting for the police to arrive, Arena took care of the baby and made sure it was not hurt. But what caught her attention the most was that her cat Lucy had never left the baby. It was so obvious that the cat had built a close relationship to the point that she followed the ambulance when the paramedics arrived to examine the baby and look after it until someone would adopt it. At the hospital, the doctor said that if it wasn't for Lucy and her motherly instincts, the baby would have been seriously hurt due to the cold weather, especially at night. After the doctors had finished their job, the authorities started looking for adoptive parents for the baby, since their efforts to find the biological parents had failed and yielded little results. Everyone is now aware of how merciful Lucy is, and she became more known to the residents around, being treated even nicer than ever because simply, she is a hero that deserves to be respected. Unlike the baby's biological parents, or whoever had the conscience to leave their baby alone in the wilderness. Whatever the circumstances, this act was absolutely unacceptable, and no infant deserves to be abandoned like this. Lucy's reaction was sufficient enough to make some people provide old clothes and toys to the baby. Up until this moment, no one knows if the parents were found or if anyone adopted the baby. However, the moral of the story is that life and death is in the hands of God, and at times unexpected matters can happen. All that can be said about this is that it makes humans wiser and helps us look more closely at life, and that we will take nothing from it after our deaths. This is the end of today's video. We hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video.